I was born and raised in Grand Forks and grew up in a typical Norwegian household. We went to church, sang the same songs every Sunday, recited the Lord's Prayer, and then we'd be good to go. My family was a normal middle-class family. I was that kid that always had a stomachache. I was a constant worrier. To give you some idea about my anxiety level, ever since I remember, I would often sit in bed at night and wonder, what's it going to be like when my parents died? And any unexplained pain in my body was obviously a terminal illness. My story and the prompting to tell my story came just this last Wednesday. I'm the general manager at Layton Broadcasting. Our talk station, KNOX, features many local guests. One of our guests is Pastor Paul. Occasionally, he'll stop by my office and leave a thought for the day. Wednesdays was, walk boldly and tenaciously towards God's best for you, leaving behind all that holds you back on the journey. I knew I wasn't walking towards anything, but rather I was just sitting waiting for someone to drag me across that finish line. Paul stopped in my office, so I told him my story. It started in the fall of 1972, my freshman year at UND. In and around the student union, reps from different companies would show up and hand out free samples. It might be shampoo, breakfast cereal, toothpaste, that sort of thing. I went from group to group, grabbing as many free samples as I could. The last rep handed me something. When I pulled my hand back to claim my free sample, I noticed it was a Bible. Embarrassed, I shoved it in my pocket. That night, I prayed to God and said, if you are really real and you want me to make you part of my life, give me a sign, give me something that will speak to me. Then I randomly opened the Bible and began to read it. It stopped on the book of Acts. As I began to read, it was Paul's journey, and I thought, blah, 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 nothing really hit me here. But what the heck, let's just keep reading. As the story of Paul and his travels moved on, it talked about Paul being on a ship when a major storm blew in. People on board the ship were certain that they would drown. I could really relate to that. They couldn't be consoled. Paul then got up and addressed everyone on the ship and said, I have spoken or received a message from God. Fear not, none of you shall perish, but you will have peace. With that, I sobbed like a child. That is what I've been looking for my entire life. I wanted to put my head on my pillow at night and know that my mind wasn't going to obsess over horrible thoughts and worries. Today, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm at least making an effort to walk boldly and tenaciously towards God's best for me, leaving behind all that holds me back on my journey. Today, I'm not going to be perfect, but rather a person that strives to be just a little better than I was yesterday with God's help. I'm Jeff Hoberg, and this is my story.